An upcoming Supreme Court case asking a critical question. Should business owners check their faith at the door?
Yeah, the case stems from a 2012 incident involving a Christian baker who refused to make a cake for a same-sex wedding. Because of this, he has gotten death threats, but he still says that he does not judge anyone.
Joining us now, the owner of the Masterpiece Cake Shop, Jack Phillips, and his attorney, Kristen Wagner. Kristen, thank you very much for joining us. So, Jack, take us back to that. What was your motivation? You know, your critics will say you're discriminatory. What ultimately, when you declined to make that cake, what was your motivation?
Well, first of all, Masterpiece Cake Shop is just a small family bakery in Lakewood, and we opened almost over 20 years ago, so I could create expressive cakes and run by my family. My wife and I own it. So I had two gay gentlemen come in one day and asked me to make a cake for their same-sex wedding, and I politely tried to explain to them that that was something that I couldn't do because of my faith. When they screamed at me and flipped me off and stormed out of my shop, they sued me, I lost, and now here we are at the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, now it's being taken up at the Supreme Court. Jack, you and Kristen both were very brave and decided to go on a show that just has a few opinions, The View. Let's take a look at some of that.
I want to Klan came in and they wanted a cake. You know, they're having a party, they're all dressed up with their sheets.
That sounds like kind of something that would be disparaging, and no, that would not.
And you say no, you would not.
That's correct.
What do you think Jesus would have done in that situation?
I don't believe that Jesus would have made a cake.
You don't?
If he'd have been a baker.
Oh, come on.
But he would have.
Jesus would have made the cake. Jesus, that's a deal breaker. Jesus is going to make the cake.
Kristen, I give you guys credit. That is not an easy show to go on, and you both said we want to show our side of the story. That's important to us.
It is. It is important to us, and I think they tried their best to be fair and have a civil dialogue. And this point about Jesus making the cake, I would make the point that that's what this case is about, is if someone wants to make the cake because of their religious beliefs or their convictions, they should have the right to do that. Likewise, Jack should have the right to speak his messages and create his artistic expression that's consistent with his beliefs. And that's what the First Amendment protects.
Well, Jack, you've said that you're not judging the people in your store. You're not judging their lives. You're just exercising your freedom of speech, freedom of religion, your of conscience as a private business. And ultimately, that's what you're hoping is upheld in this case, I would imagine.
That's correct. If I were judging the people, I wouldn't allow them in my store. But as it is, I would sell them any of the products that I have. It's just that the event is what's in question here, that I don't want to make the cake, be compelled to make a cake for something, a religious event that goes against my religious faith.
So what has the response been from people in your community, from your friends? What have they said to you, Jack, about all of this and where you fall in all of it?
It's almost entirely supportive. People understand that this is a personal issue, one that affects them as well, that the government is trying to compel me to do something against my religious faith, and they want their rights protected as well.
Kristen, where do you think the Supreme Court is going to come down on this?
Well, I think the law and the First Amendment is well settled, that all Americans have the right to speak messages and to live consistent with their faith, and I think the court will affirm that. I think the court will see and has seen the fact that the veil has been pulled back in this case, because in a similar situation, someone went in and got a cake, tried to get a cake that had an anti-same-sex marriage theme, and the commission, the same commissioners that decided against Jack, said that in that case, they agreed with the message and they upheld it and said it wasn't a violation of the law. So tolerance needs to be a two-way street, and I think the court will affirm that.
All right, we will see where all of this goes. Jack, Kristen, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you both.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.